Alrighty then. It must be Wednesday, and I don't know if that's blue. Is that blue or is that black that you're wearing? So is it the Brentwood
Got on
blue?
black.
Is it the Brentwood black? What
This
is it?
Western
Is it black
Kentucky
or blue?
black. It's black. Western Kentucky black.
Western Kentucky. You representing Western Kentucky tonight. Okay,
Yeah, I'm
okay.
giving
My
a little.
best friend went to Western Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm
What are
giving
they?
them a little public.
The something hoppers, something
Yeah,
hoppers, something. What are
yeah,
they?
they
What are they?
hilltopper,
Hill. Oh,
hilltopper.
okay. Hill toppers. Okay, okay. I was somewhere in the
Yeah,
ballpark. How you doing, Mister
yeah,
Coach Carter?
doing very well. Back into the swing of things and having a ball.
Okay, well, I'm Charles Morse, the original Coach Carter here at Youth Central Sports, where we come to you every Wednesday, where we talk some in and everything that pertains to sports, life, and we just have fun. Mr. Coach Carter, who I always tease him, but it's the truth. He abandoned me. I am the stepchild, but that's okay. That's okay. There's still love in the house. You know, he left
Love
Central
is love
Florida,
now.
and then he went to Tennessee, and the rest is history. So Vince, how is the I mean, cause school just started for people that don't know. He's up there at Brent. Is it Brentwood High School?
Brentwood High School. We started
Right.
school on August the 10th. So
Hmm.
we've actually had about 9 days of actual school. Going along well, getting the year off to start. It's interesting. I went to our first football game. Volleyball team's already playing, undefeated so far, match per match, and football team is 1-0. So excitement is in the air because all of this means that basketball is around the corner. We start October 31, so real excited right now. Starting already conditioning and getting some time on the floor with the kids on a conditioning standpoint, playing a little pickup open gym type basketball. So yeah, it's an exciting time to be able to watch the football and volleyball and know that basketball is right around the corner.
Okay. Well, the funny thing, I was just talking about on the Journey 2020, which is a show that comes on Monday at 7 p.m. So at 7 p.m. every Monday, it's the Journey 2020. So you can check us out at www.thejourney2020.com. And one of the things that I was talking about, because school started here last week, and I was talking about reminiscing and going back to what it was like getting ready for that first day of school, and what the first day of school was like when you were in elementary school and junior high school, going back to those days, and how important it was that first day, because you went to school and you was all dressed up because you got the new school clothes and everything, and that whole thing, or what that whole week was like. But so I'm asking
Yeah.
you, now that you are a teacher, can you kind of explain what it's like from your perspective of that first week of school? I mean, after coming off the summer, now you're getting ready for school. What is it like to get back into the groove of things when you're in the position that you're in?
Well, in my particular case, it's even more interesting because I've been out since February of last year. So
Okay.
I missed the last part of the school year and much of the summer until about midsummer. So coming back now, I have a certain height of excitement. I've changed assignments since from last year this year. So it's just getting to know the kids, get into the routine because I work with special need kids and learning them, not only learning the procedure in this new assignment, but also learning new kids and understanding what makes them, how they operate, what they like, what they don't like. So I've had several meetings to get to know them, but it's exciting. I'm excited about, being out there, being with them and watching them grow. I still see some of the kids I worked with last year. It's just the whole vibe. I've walked the halls the first part of just before everybody got back was very empty. Now I'm walking the hall and some major traffic jam with kids coming and going. I've been in a couple of French classes. I've been in a biology class just to get that whole vibe. I mean, it really is exciting to be back, to see the excitement in the kids as we had a big pep rally and to see all that excitement. So I'm revved up like a school kid, like especially for me, it's an added thing because I've been away. So I come back, I'm back in the swing of things, and hey, we right at it. Yeah, particularly in our school, we come back. We actually started school on on August 10th, which was a Friday. Went for a half a day. I had a training on the 9th and the 8th, but we had a half a day to kind of get kids acclimated to what they're doing, where the classes are located. And on Monday, we got right at it. I mean, we didn't waste any time. We got right at it on Monday. That's the way they do business here. So you get that excitement probably by first and second period. By third period, you're very much involved. So it's exciting to be back.
Okay, well then, see, now I truly understand because we were talking about how back in the day we would get excited because we would be going to school and then it's time for some new clothes. So now I
Yeah.
understand where the Western Kentucky thing come in because you went and got you some new clothes because
Well,
you know.
we for the third year in a row, we went to Western Kentucky and won the camp. So we get a special apparel for winning, and then we get you know how they do when you attend the camp, they give you a shirt. So I got about 3 or 4 of these, and today was my Western Kentucky representation day. So I put on one of their shirts. I got 3 others. We've been there
Yeah,
4 times.
yeah. Because I know my like I said, my best friend went there. From because we played ball together ever since junior high school and everything, and he was an All-American as well. And I'm going to see if I can get him to come on. He is now. The funny thing, Vince, is that he was a great basketball player, but when he came to our school in ninth grade, he was more so a track guy. Okay. So when he came, he actually, for all these years, had the record in the hurdles. So he was this hurdle guy. And,
Right.
For us
Right.
to see this guy coming in and he was, tall and skinny, this skinny kid that ran the hurdles excellent. Because, running the hurdles, you have to stay low, da-da-da. And so
Yes,
the
you
top
do.
hurdler that we was used to, he beat him by a mile. So, and I'm telling you all of that because when he left his other college and went to Western Kentucky, that's how come I know their colors are red and white because he sent me a Western Kentucky jacket.
Right. Right.
When he got there. But when he got there, he gave up basketball, which to this day he said, "Man, I don't know why I did that. I have no idea why I did that." And he ran track full time for Western Kentucky. And the whole time he was there because he was playing intramural basketball, and they was begging him to come out and play on the basketball team. Because he said, "Man, they was begging me, and right now he'll say, I have no idea why I stopped playing ball." And to this day, and I still look at him and say, "I have no idea why you stopped playing ball anyway." But he ran track full time once he got to Western Kentucky.
Beautiful campus, beautiful area up in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Beautiful campus, a heck of a tradition up there. They got a strong basketball program. I had a chance to work with the coaching staff there, and get to play some teams out of Kentucky, Indiana, all around, as well as from out of this area as well. So it's a great program. We were very fortunate to win it 3 times. Against some very good teams. So the competition is outstanding, and I love the way they run the camp. And then to be able to stay on campus and partake and participate in the lunch, the cafeteria is fantastic. I've seen the facilities that the kids have a chance to participate in. Both football, the football program is very strong, great facility. Saw the track field. It's a heck of an institution.
Now, this is a question that I would love to ask him because we usually have that conversation like at the end of basketball season because he still lives up there in Kentucky, and
Okay.
he'll tell you in a minute how crazy they are about basketball up there,
Oh,
and he'll
absolutely.
tell you about
Absolutely.
how much Kentucky hates Louisville and how much Louisville hates Kentucky. It's like serious business. But I've never asked him, where does Western Kentucky fit into that scheme of Louisville and Kentucky when it comes to basketball? I've never asked him that question, but I'm going to ask him that question.
Yeah, I would love to get his perspective on that, having attended school in the area. obviously Louisville in Kentucky, very well known universities, and a great basketball tradition. You probably heard more about them than you would hear about at Western Kentucky, but they got their own tradition there.
Oh yeah.
And they're very strong in their own tradition. I don't know that people would see them as a Louisville or a Kentucky because they're not getting the same type of player. They're getting some skill and very, very skilled players, but they're not getting that caliber of player. And I think that's just a difference in the universities and how you attract your athletes. But they're very respectable, very, very respectable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I mean, and it's funny to hear him talk about it because he said, man, when they play or when it's basketball time, he says everything shuts down. He said everything shuts down, and all the attention. People don't go to work.
I don't know if
They,
it's still like that to that degree, but they got a lot of community support, and they're growing. Like I said, I've been going to there for 4 years now, and I went. I have gone. Each time I go, I see something new. They're building and building and building. So they're growing into one heck of a university.
well, well, well. I'm talking about when he talks about when Louisville and Kentucky plays, that all of a sudden everything shuts down when Louisville and
Yeah, I can
Kentucky.
see that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a
And
huge
then
rivalry. That goes back a number of years, and I interact with a lot of alum from both of those schools, and you think my high intensity for Duke is bad until you hear those two. Do you hear Kentucky and Louisville talk about each other? Mine is no less, but theirs is at another level. Theirs at a completely another level. But it's that kind of rivalry, and I think that's what breeds that kind of competition in that area. They're serious about their ball now, and the thing that I like is the people that understand they're more than fans. They have high basketball IQ,
oh yeah, yeah,
so
definitely.
their expectation of what happens on that floor is not unrealistic at times. It's very real of what they anticipate.
Yeah. Oh wow, wow, wow. Before we get into anything else, I want to share something with you today.
All
I
right.
just happened, like every day, especially like after it rains,
Hmm.
I usually go saltwater fishing,
Right.
maybe about 3 times a month. And about 4 months ago, I started back freshwater fishing, which I get to do almost every day. So I just step outside, especially when it rains. I just go out, throw out real quick, blah 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 blah. So it's been raining a lot lately over the past month or two, and so today I just went out there and I just caught me a nice little bass.
Oh my. Oh, let me.
Yeah, yeah, and
Oh
so
yeah, that's pretty good. That's not. That's more than a little bass.
yeah,
That's a pretty good size one there. That's a couple of days meals right there. And I know Fran gonna put a special touch on it now when she cooked it.
yeah. So with that being said, as a matter of fact, there was two others in the freezer, but there was one left. So now there's two in the freezer now. So what? Actually, there's two and a half now. There's
Okay. All
one that
right.
was there, one that I just caught today, and then there was one that's been cut up, waiting to be cooked. So yeah, I
Oh
happened to
yeah.
just go out after it
Sauteing.
rained, and boom, boom.
Yeah.
So
Just marinating in the special sauce.
so well, as you know, and I'm pretty sure you're caught up on that, and that is Urban Meyer.
Yes.
And here's a guy who is an excellent coach, and my question to you is, if this had not been Urban Meyer, do you think somebody else would have been fired?
I honestly believe they would have. I think. Let's be honest. I think some of those guys at those top jobs, they do get some favor. I do also believe had this been any more severe than it was, if it had been some more severity to this situation, he would have been fired. But I think what they're doing now, they are showing responsibility by saying, they're going to suspend him because he did have a role in which he did. And I'm surprised he only got 3 games, but at least they had to do something. So I guess that's the best they could right now.
Yeah, that's I was because and I'm sitting back and I'm wondering, I'm like, man, Urban Meyer is one of the elite coaches,
Yeah, very
period.
much so.
Yeah. In college football, he's among those that you can count probably on one hand as far as
Right.
the elite coaches. And even for myself, I'm going like, okay, how are they going to handle this? Especially
And
knowing what I know about Ohio State and what Ohio State means to Columbus, Ohio, because I visited
but
there many a
because of that,
time.
though, Charles, because of that, and his level of accomplishment, something had to be done. I mean, you could not let that go by because of all the things that you cannot let him escape. You
No, no,
cannot
no,
give him a slap on the wrist. So I mean, I think it's interesting to see. And now what I want to see, I didn't get a chance to hear. I'm sure I'll hear it later. The president of the school was speaking on his most recent suspension, and I think the city will while it's going to give him a chance, they got 3 tough games he's going to miss. I do think they're going to embrace that, and I'm interested to see the reaction from the city, not because he's suspended, but the course of his actions.
well,
What do they think about what he did?
Vince, we talk about sports,
Hmm.
and sometimes it's extremely frustrating
Right.
because somehow or another, winning supersedes everything else. You could be wrong and wrong and wrong, but if you're winning, somehow or another, it's not of a big deal if you're losing. It's not the same. It doesn't. It could be the same thing, but it's not treated the same if you're losing versus you're winning. And there's just
I think
something wrong.
I think that sentiment still exists, but not the way it used to. Used to have been a time when this would have been swept under the rug, slapped on the hand, and we would have moved on. Sensitivity of society today, particularly in domestic violence, and has changed. And I don't think they could not overlook this. They had to do something about it, and they had to make it something realistic that people could swallow. Not necessarily people in Columbus, but all of society and football fans, non-football fans, other husbands and wives and stuff. They got to be able to swallow that you didn't just throw this under the bus. I think years gone by, there would have been an uproar because it would have been nothing. But now it's not going to happen like that. And I think the school is jumping ahead of itself to try to do something before something comes down on them. Now, are they protecting the integrity of the school? Yes. Are they protecting their revenue? Yes. They are doing all of the above because there has to be some accountability. There has to be some accountability. So, had if he was a corporate exec, would it be the same punishment? I don't think so. But given what it is, he is being punished. There starts the conversation.
Well, I mean, I would have been shocked if they had fired them. I truly would have been shocked, but I just was wondering how they was going to handle it or what the punishment was going to be. I thought it would be rare that they would get rid of him. But my point that I was
But
saying,
again,
because it is Urban Meyer and
yeah,
because it
but
is
Miles'
Ohio
history,
State and what,
yeah, but his background is shaky. He's done this kind of stuff. He's turned heads before and failed to report things and trying to cover players before. Hernandez is a great example of that. But they're giving him a second chance, and they are saying, "Oh, listen, you did do wrong. You were wrong. You should, you did fire the guy, but you didn't follow the proper procedures." Look at three game suspensions, 3 game suspension for them, and their schedule is huge. that could have a heck of an impact on their season. Now, they're going to be prepared to play. I understand that they're approaching it like they do anything else. That other coaches are getting out, they're getting them ready. So they have the potential to go out there and lose those 3 games. They could very well lose all 3 of those games, and he comes in 0-3. They also have the potential, depending upon what the talent level is like, that they could go out there and they could be 3-0. So you never know, because you plan for that. You plan, but you never really plan for your head coach not to be there. You plan for your starting quarterback not to be available, your starting lineman, and maybe your star receiver and your starting back. Very few programs ever have a plan for when the head coach is not there. Now, the head coach sits around and always says to his assistants, just in case I'm not here, here's what we're going to be doing. Here's a game plan. But nobody really sits down and says, if I'm not here. But because they do give some attention to it, these guys are going to have to step up and get it done.
Now the funny thing is, see, it just came to my mind when we were talking about this about maybe 90 seconds ago. Rick Pitino. We were just talking about Louisville and Kentucky. Mm-hmm. Do you think that somebody is going to pick him up? I mean, do you think because he is Rick Pitino? I mean, because he's right up there with the elite of the elite as college basketball coaches, and as you say, he has this trail.
3-time offender. Nobody's gonna. He's a 3-time offender. I think somebody may take a chance on him. He's been up for a couple of jobs, and he withdrew from a couple, one or two of them had no real interest in him. I think he'll bounce back maybe at a lower level, but for him to be back at the top, I don't think, because he's a multiple-time offender, and that's just sending one heck of a bad message. And in today's society, again, I don't think they can forgive him, but they can't put him back there. I don't think anybody's going to want to do that. Now, if Rick is coaching 20 years, 10, 15 years from now, he might get a chance back, not the foreseeable future. Because with the sensitivity of what everybody's trying to accomplish and what they say they want to do and trying to maintain that level of integrity, you'd be a fool to put him on your program, given that the violations that he has created. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, there's some people who would probably give Rick a shot. They're going to have a lot of problems in because they got to convince that the AD's got to be convinced. He's got to convince the administration. I just think that they're going to say, nah, we don't need to win that bad. We'll find another way to do it. And I think that's the correct way to look at it. He's bad for the program. He's bad for what he's done. He did a great job when he was there, but the decisions that he's made, and to me, is a detriment to the integrity of the game and to the kids and to the school you represent.
Do you think that he tried the professionals, he really wasn't as successful?
I don't think he does well there. I don't even want to touch him right now. He probably has a better chance going there than he does in the college level, but I just don't think, based on his previous record, as you said, he didn't have much success when he was there. The type of success that he was anticipating, I don't see it. Strange things happen now. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it could happen, but I'm betting against it right now. I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, now I'm trying to remember. Do you remember whether or not they had settled on his contract? Whether or not they still? Do you remember they still going through that? Are they still negotiating?
I honestly do not know. I recall they were getting close to a settlement, but right now I do not remember whether they did or not. And I'm glad you asked. I have to do some research on that. I kind of believe that they come to an end. I believe they came to an end, but I don't recall what the decision was.
Oh, wow. Well, with Urban Meyer, like I said, I really wanted to wait this out and see if they was going to get rid of him, which three games. How you feel about that? How you feel about the 3-game suspension? Do you think that was justified or should have been more?
I thought 4 games was going to be what he's going to get, but 3 games, given the level of severity, what that brings, and his he did fire the guy once he found out about it. But what he did not do that was the protocol that they're getting him for. So I think 3 games, um, based on the information that they have now, he's warranted a 3 game suspension. Now, if they find out that there's some other things, he may come back and revise that. He can still get fired, but I think right now they're going to go with the 3 game suspension, and that's a lot. That's a big embarrassment for the program. Him, and it's a ding on your integrity. On your integrity, right. And you know the thing about it, everybody does it. Everybody does that discretion, indiscretion, and that's fine until you get caught. And once you get caught, that indiscretion becomes a small indiscretion becomes a large indiscretion. Nobody wants to deal with you, but they know it's going on already. You know, so he failed to follow protocol, and the result again, if that thing had turned out any violent than it did, he would be in deep. They probably would have fired him for that.
I'm going to try to ask this question. I don't know if I'll be able to ask it correctly. Being that you understand what it is to have your coaching staff, because in the reason why it's your coaching staff, because it's more like family. You know, you trust each other, you know each other,
right.
You know how each of you think. You probably even know the family members because everybody seem like family, right. And so there's a lot of things, like you say, that's kind of like, you know, like you look at it but you don't look at it. You right. kind of will say something but don't say something that needs to be said, because you say what you say and you expect that whoever you say it to go ahead and fix this where it doesn't need to come back. But sometimes,
right, I don't have to fix it. Correct.
Right. So how it was maybe 15, 20 years ago. And the question that I'm trying to ask is, because of how we are now, how do you think head coaches look at that family now and what goes on versus maybe 20 years ago when it comes to you being responsible, because it all boils down to that head coach, and now he has a coaching staff. How do you think they look at their position and that inner circle and their coaches that are now under them?
I think it's the same principle as it was before, except for now it's just a bit more sensitive. The head coach now has to be even more particular about bringing on the right staff and being able to trust them, being able to ensure that they're going to adhere to the culture that he wants. I think he spends more time on it now than he ever has before. It's just another part of what he's doing, where before it wasn't as much time being spent. I trust you, that's it, we go ahead. But now you're doing more follow, doing more diversity training, you're doing more one-on-one, putting in a lot of policies, and he's got to clean that up. He's got to police that, because he understands now, if I'm on his staff and I commit a violation, it's going to roll downhill. So it's going to get me, but they're going to also get him. One thing they're going to want to know: did you know anything of this? Did you condone this? Had you spoke with them about it? Have you reported it or whatever? So it's more hands-on now from than before. I think before we were concerned about, head coach was concerned, but he might have turned his head. And the favorite thing is, you fix it before I have to fix it. If you go ahead and clean that up before it gets to me. Nowadays, the moment they know, they are required to report that. Now, they may not always do that. They may try to clean it up before it gets to that point, but they're much more involved now, more sensitive to it than ever before, especially with the Me Too movement. Couple of kids, you had unfortunately an athlete that died on the field. You've had athletes with severe injury, where you got your coaches right there, and you want to know what could you have done to prevent that. So it's a lot of sensitivity that's being given to coaches today, and a lot of pressure on head coaches, but goes with the job. And they're making that kind of money. I think you can do that. That's what you got a coaching staff for. They're doing, head coaches coach, but you got your assistants. You're there to manage your assistants. They're there to implement what you want, so that you have to kind of hop around and kind of touch and see what's going on and have everybody involved. And a part of that now is being managing your coaches.
Now, I wanted to ask you, what you were talking about earlier, Have you ever been in a situation where you couldn't make it, but you couldn't coach, and let's just say now you need your assistants to now step in where you couldn't coach for a game or two? Were you ever in a situation where it was now things went back to your assistant where you couldn't coach?
No, I've never been. I've been in a situation where I've been late. I
Okay.
was detained, and he had to get it started for me. But again, one of the things that I believe in is that having them prepared, for all of us to be prepared, that just in case, just like when I was in corporate America, we always planned for my staff to be able to function in my absence. You don't need me here to get the job done. Here's the plan. Here's how we're going to do it. Here's everybody's responsibility. Well, to me, coaching is the same thing. Those opportunities, I made sure they understood. We've sat down and said, hey, here's what we're going to do. Now, obviously, he's got to put his twist on it because he's not me and I'm not him. But the philosophy and the direction that we're going, I have been enough thus far to be able to trust that guy to go ahead and do what he needs to do until I got there, or if I didn't get there at all. And I've
Okay.
also been placed in the other way where I've been the assistant that had to step in for the head coach because he either, for whatever the reason, couldn't be there or was running late to get it started. So I understand on both sides of the fence. I understand what he wants. I'm going to implement it according to the game plan that we have, trying to, putting my twist on it. I'm not him, but I know what he wants, and I'm going to make sure that's what happens.
Okay. Now, have you been in a situation where in the family you said, I'm going to have to ask you to leave? Have you ever had to fire assistant coach for
I didn't ask
whatever
him to leave.
reason?
I fired. I didn't ask him. I didn't ask him to leave. I fired him. Yeah, I've done. It was plain and simple. You're out of here. You got to go. Because of the integrity of what we said and my trust in him, and he to me violated the family code. He broke the trust of the athlete, and then it disappointed me. I could have lived with disappointing me because we could get around that, but you broke the family code and you deceived an athlete, and I had a problem with that.
Okay.
I had a problem. That bothered me more than disappointing me, which I could have, I would have looked at him a little bit differently, but I could have got over that. But breaking those other two was not I could take. And I didn't really, and without going into great detail, the way he treated the athlete probably was number 3, and number 4 was my disappointment because we don't treat our athletes like that. At least I don't think you do. And so for those 3 reasons, there was no discussion. Once I knew it was a fact, I gave him every opportunity to defend himself and made sure I did that I balanced the investigation, not just one side. And once I got the facts, he broke it. I mean, you violated what we said we were about. You got to go.
Wow.
Got to go. It's
Okay.
disappointed, but
Yeah.
but that's what you do.
Okay. Now, when that happens, did you guys remain friends?
Not at Spurs. No. And we're not the best of friends today.
Okay.
I think he thought there should have been some favor, and I thought I gave him favor. So we disagree on that. I thought I gave favor by having him there, trusting him, and what made it so clear for me to make the decision, we had discussed how we would do what we do. And he had input to that, and he went opposite of that. So there's no question for me. I'm at peace with it, and I'm a little disappointed that we couldn't part with a better understanding. I don't expect I don't expect to be his best friend, but
Right.
I thought we could see eye to eye, but it hasn't happened, and that's been years ago, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Gonna ask a question, and when I ask the question, you're gonna understand it. People who never really played sports at a certain level, and I'm not even talking about professional, but there is a level of a high level of competition,
Mm-hmm.
even at the playground. Because
Oh
you can
yeah.
go to some playgrounds and it's not the same when you go to another playground. And the level of
Mm-mm.
competition is very high.
Boy, I'm
You
telling you,
know,
amen.
and in that, in that arena in which you're playing, in your circle, gosh, Vince, I had a brain fart. I had a question, and it and it left me. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It was a good question. Wait a minute. You know what? It's gonna come back to me. I don't know what happened.
Okay. All right.
Let's. No, well, let me ask this question first, and it's gonna come back to me. What's happening with Dez Bryant?
Last I heard, he was given an offer, but he had not responded yet. It's getting late. It's getting late in the season. We're getting close to the start of the season. I'm a little surprised that there's had. I don't really understand why he's not accepting this right now. Uh, I think the Browns offered him, and he declined it. And I don't or better than he's declining, he is not respond. He's not acknowledged it yet. Don't know what he's waiting for. I don't know if he's waiting for another team. He's certainly not coming back to the Cowboys. That's not going to happen. So
Yeah.
I don't know what he's waiting. I'm a little surprised by that because I thought he
Now,
still wanted to play.
right?
I thought he still wanted to play.
Wow.
I mean,
Okay.
and people are willing to give Dez a shot. That's the thing. It'd be one thing he couldn't find a job, but there are people who want him, and he just doesn't seem to be responding right now.
Okay. Okay. As I try to get that question back, I'm going
Yeah,
to
yeah,
see if
yeah,
I can get
yeah.
that question back in a minute,
Okay,
but I do remember it was a good question.
okay, all right.
Okay, are you ready for your 3 minute sprint?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, all right. What was your favorite Aretha Franklin song?
Respect.
Oh, cool. Really? Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Have you ever seen Patti LaBelle in concert live?
No.
No? Oh, all right, no bad.
No.
Okay, when you were in junior high school, did you ever hear at lunchtime there was going to be a fight after school?
Many times. I was the subject of that conversation a couple of times.
Okay.
They were announcing my demise.
Okay. Have you, I guess, have you ever stopped a fight that started at school?
Yes. Yes, I have. I have.
Okay. I asked a few weeks ago when you was in the military that you were a military police, and I asked you,
Right.
have you ever made an arrest? You said yes. Have you
Yes.
ever arrested a female?
No.
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 Oh, okay. What's your favorite meal you like to cook?
Turkey burgers.
Oh, okay. Okay. Just had one day before yesterday. Okay.
Yeah, I love those things.
Okay. Your favorite childhood game, was it red light, green light, hide and seek, jacks, hopscotch, marbles, or tag?
Marbles.
Oh, so you're pretty good at marbles?
I was pretty good at marbles. Yeah.
Okay. When you were a kid, did you guys ever play the dozen?
Yes.
Of course, right?
Yes. Oh,
Were you
yeah.
any
That's
good at
natural. I was real good at it. Sometimes too good at it.
it? Have you ever
That's why I
been
was the
to
subject of the lunchtime thing.
be like, yeah, we gonna meet after school, man.
There you go. Exactly.
Have you ever been to a Cowboys game?
Not. No. No, I have not.
Okay.
I have not.
What country would you like to visit?
I actually would like to go back to Germany, Europe, and over that way. I'd like to go back over there.
Oh, okay. What country you have been to that you would recommend for somebody else to vacation?
Actually, two: Germany, and England, and Italy at three. Those 3.
Three?
Hmm.
Well, okay. Well then. High school, right?
Yeah,
That's
tough
funny.
time, man. That's
Oh
a
man, man. And I'm still trying to think. I mean, I had that question right on the tip of my tongue, and I must be a brain fart, man. It's serious,
as soon as
really.
we get off the air, it'll come back to you.
So, have you been following the WNBA now? Now that the playoffs and all that other stuff going on?
I lost the last part of the season trying to catch back up. Now I saw a couple of games the other day, but I kind of lost track of that a little bit. So I'm trying to get back on speed because I actually enjoy watching the young ladies play. To me, a lot of people don't think it's good basketball, but I think it is. I
Really?
think it's very entertaining. Yeah, they're just staunch male basketball players, and I used to kind of be that way too. I'm watching a lot more. I'm enjoying what they do. We have a good here at the school. We got a good girls team. So I'm watching our volleyball team, the girls, and so I'm really becoming a huge fan of that female side of the sport. Just seeing some good play, some good athleticism, some great teams. It's infectious to me because it's not about the gender. It's about the way the skill level and the way they do what they do and what they do the game.
Did you see that picture that they showed on ESPN where they had, I think, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, and LeBron James, and a few of the other guys? They were out playing ball at the
Yeah,
gym out at UCLA, and of
right,
course,
right.
that conversation is about they're trying to recruit, I guess, Kawhi to make sure that he's going to end up as a Laker and da da da. Guys getting together playing ball. Do you think that's a possibility that he would go and play with LeBron? And of course, the conversation would be, would that team be good enough to take down the Warriors?
Well, right now, what I read earlier today was that Kawhi's approach to going to Toronto is to be fully invested with the intent of staying there long term. Now he's gonna let next year, this coming year, make that determination for him. He could be a Paul George. He had every intention of going to the Lakers, but fell in love with Oklahoma, and they're hoping. And Kawhi, what I do like, he's being open. I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm coming in 100% investment, playing my butt off, and then we'll see what happens. So it still exists as a possibility. I do think he's on their radar. They're going to do all they can to kind of recruit him in. But what I've seen from him thus far tends to tell me he's a man of his own thoughts. He'll make his own decision. So I think I hold out for the possibility that he might go, but I'm almost at a 50-50 that he might not go as well. Because it's going to depend on what kind of year he has, how well he gels with the chemistry with the team, how well they do. Because I think if he sees that they have great prospect, they're playing well, they go deep in the playoff. Why would you even go? Why would you go to LA? Because they really gone. They're just trying to get it together. He'd be a big piece, but you already got a situation right there where you're at. So I think that's what happened to Paul George, saying, "Shoot, why should I go out there and start over when I'm already right here?" So I think that's what they're hoping. That's what he said he was going to do. So I still think it's a 50-50 chance he might go. Right now, I'm going to leave it at 50-50, but it could change. It could end up being a 60-40.
You know what, Vince? The funny thing is that while that whole thing was going on with him going there, I never thought about it. And it wasn't until much later that I realized that he really went to a good team, because the
He did.
conversation was always about him and da leaving and the Spurs and the Lakers. But he was really on a good team, and I didn't
Yeah.
think about that. So now, what was a good team is actually going to be better because he's there.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna add a tremendous amount of value to the play on the floor, and they're saying that he's playing as well as he did. I mean, he's fully recovered. He's back in. He's been working. He's been playing, and if he can come back anything like he was before he got hurt, I just think him being there in any form is going to be a big benefit to him. But if he can produce, yeah, they're good. They're not a bad squad at all. They're not a bad squad at all. And having him just, I mean, people are saying that wherever LeBron goes, your team gets better. I think it's true of Kawhi as well. Wherever he goes, your team gets better.
Well, also I heard on the news, I heard on the sports talk show today that Ginobili is waiting to meet with Popovich because it looks like he's considering retiring. Did you hear that?
Yeah, he was supposed to go last year and they back in again. I don't know if given that Parker is gone, Kawhi didn't come back, and all of that, he may say, okay, I can't go anymore because I mean he's 41 years old.
Right.
And he's been playing ball a good little while, and I think he wants to sit with Pop because I think one of the questions he'll want to know from Pop, how long you gonna stay around? Because they've been saying Pop won't be around much longer either. They're saying maybe 2020 Pop will be gone. So if they have that conversation, he may decide to stay and leave with Pop. I tend to think he's ready to go now. I don't think he's gonna play. I'm leaning toward him not playing this season. He's gonna retire.
Now, we both know how we both feel about LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know what to expect from the Lakers this coming season, but I think a lot of people are banking on not this coming season, but the following season. That team is supposed to, you know, make an upgrade in the free agency. But my
Yeah,
question,
yeah.
right? But my question is, where you think they're going to be in this coming season, now that the king is in town?
Yeah, a lot of people are saying they're going to be fourth seed. I don't think so. I think 6 or 8 seeds where they're going to be. I don't think they're going to be that high. They just don't have, from what I see right now, judging from what LeBron likes to do, this type of game that he's playing, the kind of players they have around him right now, I don't think they're going to be able to take full advantage of what he brings to the table. They don't have anybody that can shoot the ball. The defensive side of the ball, yeah, pretty good. But offensively, it looks like it's going to be LeBron to the right. It's almost like football. LeBron to the left, to the right, shoot, 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 shoot. Um, I just don't think they got enough firepower. I think in my opinion, what they're doing is just trying to put something together, put it on the floor, go out there and do what they can do until free agency comes next year, and then try to load up.
You know, I've
Load up.
been in the past week they were talking about Duke because I think Duke is overseas playing ball somewhere.
Yeah, because the Carolina was down in the Bahamas.
Right.
EJ Barrett and Zion Williams, along with the other recruits they got a strong class. Now, I'm not a Duke fan, but they got a strong class. But
Well,
I'm
that was
telling
my
people,
question.
don't sleep on them Tar Heels now.
No, well, we'll see. That was my question. See, now wait a minute. Now I
Yeah, Tar
got
Heels
now.
got class
Let me
too.
ask this question before I forget this one.
Hmm.
I've been hearing, like I said, that Duke has been in the news about them playing overseas. I haven't really heard that much about North Carolina. So my question I was going to ask you: how is the recruiting for North Carolina, and what do they look like up against Duke when you put them head to head? How do they look in this coming season?
Well, first of all, in the Bahamas, they had a real good showing in the Bahamas. They played down there and played very well, looked very good. Some of their recruits had showcase type games. And I met a Duke friend the other night. We had a frank conversation, and it came down to something like the fact that they got two very talented individuals out there. They got EJ Barrett, and then who was at Mount Verde, as a matter of, I think it was at Mount Verde, and then you got Zion Williams coming in, and both of those guys are tremendous athletes. The difference, I think, for me coming into this season, from a talent wise, they got the better talent. A team, I think Carolina is better structured as a team. They got more returning veterans. They got more weapons. Where I think these two kids definitely going to be a highlight show. But I'm partially because I'm a Carolina fan. I think it's just going to be team play over talent. I'm not. Coach K can if he can get those kids to gel well, and put everybody in their roles, they're gonna be fun to watch. And they're gonna be dangerous. They're gonna be very dangerous. Carolina just signed a 16 guy the other day to add to the bigs they had from last year. The question would be, would they be able to replace Joe Barry, who graduates and signed with the Lakers? I think he got a two-way contract with the Lakers. Seven Woods looks really good this summer. So it's going to be interesting to see. They're going to battle. I don't care what they got. If they both got one player on the court, it's going to be a battle. So I come down skill against team play, strength of team. Where Carolina individually may not be as strong, and I might be underrating them slightly by saying they're not as strong individually, because some of those kids have shown some tremendous upsides. But as a team, I think that will be the difference when they play Duke. I think it'll be team versus talent, individual talent, team talent versus individual talent.
What
Then, of course,
other school had a great recruiting class that you, whether, I could say a sleeper, but it may not just be just
no.
Another powerhouse.
Well, Kentucky had a good year. Always he gets a lot of he's got a lot of those one and done kids, and so he's able to pluck some talent. Although the last 2 years, I don't think they've been as talented as they were when they went 25-1. They had a good year recruiting. I understand that Michigan decent. It's kind of hard. I mean, the big news gatherers have been pretty much duped because of the two players they got, but Carolina got 4 or 5 players. So I don't know. It's hard. You got to look at Kansas. You got to take a look at Kansas. You got to look at Arizona. Those guys, I wouldn't call them sleepers, but they're a dog in the hunt.
I know you're looking forward to football season starting.
Had a chance to watch some preseason football. Didn't think I'd want to, but I did. Kind of got a little itch. In fact, I was watching some earlier tonight, a replay, and I was watching. I think it was Pittsburgh and the 49ers. I think I was watching. I think that's what it was. Nice to see it. I kind of had a warm feeling for it. I'm interested. I watched the Cowboys play. I know we had a big injury. An offensive lineman went down. They thought it might have been season-ending injury, but he's going to survive. He's going to be fine. So I'm really, really kind of excited to see just to see it get out there on the field with the new rules and changes in coaches and moving people around. It always makes it interesting for me, because I know the challenges of bringing new guys in, changing systems, and all that kind of thing. Just makes it fun. So, and they're saying again on paper, it's the Cowboys' year. But I've heard that 2 or 3 years, and we've not gone anywhere. So we'll see.
Now, Vince, we briefly talked about it before, but they've really been talking about this new rule, man, and it seems to be driving people crazy. Sherman was talking about it again. Here you have this game that is a violent game. This game is about me hitting you, and and the funny thing about it is I can have a clean, hard hit, and because it's hard and because it's a vicious hit, they throw the flag anyway. And they're just talking about, they don't know how this is really going to affect the game long term, in the sense of not from the injury standpoint, but the actual play of the game. And they're saying now that the offense is just going to run rampant, because they're saying that you got guys that are not football players making these decisions on the field about playing football.
Well, for me personally, it's just conversation. It's conjecture. Let's put the pads on, put the ball on the field, and let's see what happens. Believe me, the defense is not going to stand there and let the offense just run up and down the field. That's not going to happen. Even if they got to penalize them from one end of the floor, one end of the field to the other, we're gonna play ball. I do think long term the game is in jeopardy because they're having to change it and adjust it to make it safer. People who fans are not understanding of that. Uh, Now, what's gonna give it some longevity? Although I predict 20 years we won't have a game of football, at least not the way we look at it right now, because of injury, because of a lost interest. The betting will heighten it for a while because when they start doing in-stadium streaming, so people could watch a live football game and do their fantasy football at the same time, because they were losing that customer. They weren't going to the games because they couldn't do both. So they'd stay home, watch the game on TV, so they could do their fantasy football. So then the league wised up and said, okay, we're gonna put Wi-Fi. We're gonna create a whole different lounge for you guys to come and sit and watch to still get that revenue. Football is going to maintain itself for a while. They'll find new gimmicks to keep it going. These guys on the field are complaining about, and I'm not saying it's not valid, but I'm saying every rule change has been faced with the same amount of criticism, and you get over it. You find a way to get behind it, and so I'm saying stop whining. Didn't affect your paycheck. You still got a chance to win. Go play.
I don't know though, Vince. This what it appears to be, and I mean you're right to that degree, but we love that. The reason why we love football is because we love the contact. We love to see it.
They can still be making contact though. They can still be making contact. Okay, I looked at preseason football. I didn't see that many flags. I saw people getting their head knocked off, but I didn't see that many flags. Now they had a couple of flags, and they were valid flags because they put the head in the wrong place. That's going to happen. We like to see NASCAR because they tear them up and bang them up and run all over the doggone place, and
Right.
tear up $100,000 cars. But what we as fans fail to realize, these are people trying to earn their livelihood. And we get upset because it's not violent enough for you. Well, if that was your family member out there, wouldn't you want the most safety that they could have so they could participate and you can still be entertained? The fan base will adjust. The players will adjust. It'll be football as usual. It's not. I mean, we're gonna fuss. We'll fuss the first 2 weeks. Gonna be a lot of flags, maybe. But as soon as everybody adjusts and come to the realization, if you don't tackle him, he's going to score, and I'm going to trade you right after that because you didn't tackle him. Yeah, it'll be all right.
Now,
And
well,
the fans will get adjusted to it.
now actually, I think where there's going to be the discrepancy is in the playoffs. So
So be it.
watch,
I mean,
watch.
it's going to happen. I mean,
Right.
you can't get around
I
it
got
because
that.
it's new.
See, mark it down. Mark it down, Vince. Mark it down. One Wednesday night at 11 o'clock in the playoffs, we're going to be talking about a flag.
Oh yeah, you're gonna talk about it before that. We would have talked about it long before that. But it's the nature of the game. I mean, it's got to happen. I mean, it's a rule now. So you might as well. You got two choices: get on board or get off. Either stop playing and go to Canada, go play in one of the European leagues, or shut your face and go out there and make the best tackle you can. Because if I'm coaching, that's what I'm saying. If you having that hard of a time with, maybe you don't need to play this year. At least not on my team. Because if you don't tackle on my team, I don't care where your head's supposed to be, what the rule is. You let that guy score, don't worry about it. You'll be playing. What is it? Flag football? Because you'll be out of here. You'll have to go from here. I don't want to hear that. I mean, and the rules committee sat down, the Players Association, everybody put the input in. This is end result. I don't have to like it. I don't think it's fair and all of the above, but it's how I do my job. So they got to come deal with that. And yes, that flag is going to hurt somebody's feelings. It's going to be a bad call that's going to upset a whole lot of people. But the Cowboys are still talking about that catch Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant missed a couple of years ago, and that is now a rule that would have been a catch today.
Well, that was my next question was, do you think they're ever going to get that catch rule right? Do you think they're ever going to get it right?
They got it right now. They've already. He can't go back and correct that. But that's the new rule. So I mean, that's the game evolves. And look at who's complaining. The new players aren't complaining. The rookies aren't complaining. The second year players aren't complaining. It's done 15-year vets are complaining. They don't want to learn. They don't. That's a dog that don't want to learn new tricks. You got to. You got no choice. You
Right.
got to learn some new tricks.
Well, you already know it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, man.
Oh yeah. That's why some of them going home. Some of them gonna be going. Some of them not gonna make it this year. They're gonna cut them before they get there if
Right.
they aren't careful. But it's an adjustment all the time. And just like we put the 3-point rule in, the way basketball is being played, some of the baseball rules they've changed. Everybody gripes about it because I got to get out of my comfort zone. I got to learn something new. Understood you don't like that, but guess what? Just like when I go on my job, they tell me, "Hey, listen, we're not going to record this information." Well, yeah, I just learned the other. I don't want to do that. Yeah, but that's not your choice. This is how we get it done, or you don't get paid. Guess what? I'm doing it this way because that's
Okay.
what you say you want. But I do agree with you. We're gonna get a couple of flags, and people's jaws are gonna be really tight, and mine might be one of them on one of my cowboy calls. But that's
Well,
what it is.
well, especially like if I got money on this game, Vince, be like some of those official man. I'm gonna show up at your house, man. You
Yeah,
know, you
yeah,
know,
yeah. You know,
I'm gonna show up at your house, and not
Vegas.
only that, I know where your dog live.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they getting that now. They getting that right now. And Vegas gonna make a killing. Vegas gonna make a killing. They don't care whether you win, lose, or draw. They're gonna make their money.
Oh yeah.
But it'll all be all right. It'll all be all right. We'll be back. I guarantee you by mid-season, nobody will care. They'll be talking about drop balls. Is what they're gonna be talking about. Not missed tackles, but drop balls, fumbles, and because one of the things the defenses are doing, I saw from a collegiate level, and I did see some of this at the NFL level. They're teaching those guys now, obviously how to lay that hat the right way. But now they're already stripping the ball. Now they really going after stripping the ball now. They're gonna now try to strip that ball. They're gonna try to pop that ball out from up under that guy's arm. So rather than make the tackle, we're going for the strip. So you're gonna see a lot more. There's a lot more intensity on that. Now they're gonna see a hit now. There's gonna be some contact. But they're really working on stripping, they're gang tackling. You hold them up till I get there. So and really they're coming to hit, but they're really coming to strip, trying to turn more turnovers.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, uh, Coach Carter, and I'm Charles Morris, where we come to you right here at www.youthcentralsports every Wednesday at 11 p.m. And also, don't forget to like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. Also, make sure that you check out the Journey 2020 every Monday at 7 p.m. at www.thejourney2020.com. We're happy to spend the hour here, and as you see, Vince and I, we have a lot of fun, and he's very, very, very informative, and I like to pick his brains. Not only that, he's very passionate, not only about the sports, but he's also he's passionate about the kids, and that's why we call it Youth Central Sports. So with that being said, Mr. Vince Carter, the knee is okay. The knee is okay because you told me that you almost, something about you started running and you had to catch yourself.
Catch myself. I was out there demonstrating a drill the other day. Jumped down in that bad boy. My knee said, "Wait a minute. We're not 100%." Yeah. I'll be the 27th of this month will be 6 months from surgery, right? And according to my doctor, I'm on schedule, if not slightly ahead. So it is still getting there, but I'm actually jogging a little bit.
Okay.
Today, where in PE with one of the kids, they messed around and pulled me down the court a little bit. So I had to slow them down. They were going a little bit too fast for me, but yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there.
Okay.
It's getting there.
All right. Well, Coach Vince Carter, I'm Charles Morris, and thank you. And enjoy the rest of your week. You be blessed.
Yeah, be blessed. Talk to you. See you soon.
All right.